Happy Saturday and welcome to the Ramashram Satsang Weekend Workshop, where you will learn a modern Satsang method for obtaining peace, light, and love in your life. My name is Shivangi and I will be introducing the facilitator for today's event. But first, I would like to give you a brief overview to this Satsang session. If you'll direct your attention to the screen, you will see that the first element is Satsang. Satsang is a scientific method whereby we may obtain peace, light, and love in our lives. It requires no physical skill, spiritual accomplishment, or meditation experience to begin this practice. Satsang consists of two words, Sat and Sang. Sat means positive energy, and Sang means to be with or to be in the presence of. Therefore, the word Satsang means to be in the presence of positive energy. The next element is meditation. Meditation is an important part of satsang. When we meditate, our consciousness is drawn from worldly objects and directed inward to focus on a single thought. In doing so, our minds become calm and our thoughts become pure, leading us to higher states of consciousness such as enlightenment, peace, light, and love. Inner orientation. There are two types of satsangs: inner satsang and outer satsang. An example of outer satsang would be chanting or attending pilgrimages. When we practice outer satsang, we have the potential to change our behavior. But it is only through the practice of inner satsang can we obtain higher states of consciousness, such as enlightenment, peace, light, and love. This is the type of satsang we will learn today, where we meditate in silence. Group sessions. These weekend workshops are structured for group participation. When we meditate as a group, our focus is improved and our personal progress along our spiritual path is expedited. By regularly attending these weekend workshops, the benefits of group participation are amplified. Joy and inner happiness. All beings wish to experience joy. Joy is the eternal longing of the soul, but it is only through the practice of inner satsang can we obtain a joyous state. Each time we practice satsang, our inner happiness gradually increases, ultimately culminating in a state of joy that we experience 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Next, the agenda for today's session consists of three parts: the informative session, the practice session, and the interactive session. During the informative session, a lecture will be given about a satsang topic, our founder, or some relevant spiritual topic. During the practice session, instructions on how to meditate will be given, followed by a brief period of practice. During the interactive session, you will have the opportunity to ask questions or there will be a panel discussion. And now, I would like to introduce the facilitator for today's event. He has over 40 years of satsang experience. He is the grandson of Guru Maharaj, the founder of Ramashram Satsang Mathura. He was born into the satsang family where he has witnessed his family members obtaining states of enlightenment and live lives of peace, light, and love. At an early age, he began traveling with this mission throughout India, facilitating satsangs. During that time, he witnessed the positive effects that satsang could have on mankind. Upon arriving in the United States, both he and his wife continued to facilitate satsangs for local satsangis. He has led teams of satsang members in translating important satsang literature into English and has worked tirelessly to make satsang more accessible to Western and English speaking audiences. He currently travels throughout the United States, India, and England facilitating satsangs while maintaining his duties as a husband, a father, and an IT executive. Today, he will teach us a rare and ancient form of satsang as taught by our Guru Maharaj. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Sanjeev Kumarji and his daughter Parul.
Happy Saturday, everyone. Glad that we are here in Satsang. I basically would talk a little bit about, uh, in we have talked about neuroplasticity. So today I was thinking of talking about activity-based plasticity, just for a few minutes, and then we'll, as usual, go into meditation. And at the core is the silent meditation. And after the meditation, we'll open up for thoughts, comments, questions, and further drill down into today's topic. So I was listening to a TED talk by Dr. David Vago. He actually has been one of the pioneers in researching the effects of meditation on our brain. And, interestingly, he says when he initially started his research, or he was looking for what, to focus on which area of cognitive uh, science that he wanted to focus on. Till about 2000, there were, less than 100 such studies, and he was told that that may not be a very good idea to, go further down that path. And but he somehow found the opportunity, and then he had a team in 2016, which went all out. And where he initially starts is that we have billions, like 86 billion neurons in our brain. And as we age, that number actually reduces. But then, how does that tie into our experience, perception, how we, our awareness and wisdom? Um, and that's where he talks about activity-based neuroplasticity, or activity-based plasticity, in which he is talking about trillions of connections between these neurons. So every thought, every emotion, every habit leaves a trace, a pattern of neural activity that can either be strengthened or softened. And this is what he is calling the activity-based plasticity. So the brain's ability to rewire itself based on what we repeatedly do or pay attention to. And when we practice mindfulness and meditation, we are quite literally reshaping our brain. Every moment of awareness, each time we return to the present moment, which is core of, core element of any mindful or meditative practice. So we are strengthening the circuits linked to attention, compassion, emotional regulation, so we are strengthening by mindfulness and meditation attention, compassion, and emotional regulation, while weakening those ties to anxiety, reactivity, and self-criticism. So very interesting. So he further goes to talk about self-experience. This is the path to self-experience, moving towards self-transcendence. So through steady awareness, we begin to see that we are not our thoughts or our emotions. We are the awareness that is observing these. So this shift brings what he calls the wise awareness, a deeper understanding that connects insight with compassion, knowledge, and with wisdom. So he's talking about there is this connection of your own experience through awareness that then turns into wisdom. So as we get into meditation today, just think of this process that we are in is an act of conscious neurosculpting. With every breath, every moment of awareness, we are rewiring our inner landscape, cultivating clarity, balance, and wisdom. So, I'll actually write another Substack article based on this TED Talk, so more details to follow. But I just wanted to say that, every time you meditate, this is not, just closing your eyes and not doing anything. You are basically rewiring your brain as you do that. And, I always, not a direct or good comparison, but in sleep, we do a lot of very, very, very important activities that are, uh, you know, life preserving, including, the brain resets itself. So what you have learned, what you have, uh, you know, uh, so the time of absorption or resetting is during the sleep time for the brain. So similarly, I think meditation is an activity where we are, neurosculpting basically every time we sit and meditate. And clarity, being grounded, we talk in this context, but it is actually literal. Um, all right, so let's get into it. Eyes lightly closed. Sit in a relaxed and still posture. So every time, your body moves, your mind moves with it. So we want to have a very still and relaxed posture. And eyes lightly closed because sensory input through the eyes also distracts our mind. And what we want to do then is feel the presence of a conscious source of this transcendental energy in form of light. And this light is entering your heart and distributing throughout your body. So you are enlightening your heart and you are becoming the light as the light moves to every part of your body. When mind wanders away, which it will, just bring it back to this thought and this thought alone, that there is no activity, just observation of this transcendental energy in form of light. That light is entering your heart, enlightening it, and then it's distributing throughout your body and you're getting completely and totally immersed in this light. So every time you become aware that mind has gone elsewhere, just bring it back to this observation, this thought. So from multitude of thoughts, we are coming to one thought, and then in deep meditation, we'll drop that as well. So we'll start with music. Music helps with concentration, and then we'll go into deep silent meditation on this transcendental light, and we'll transition out with music again. Let's start now. So happy Saturday, everyone. Feel free to, this is your time now, um, uh, to ask questions, any comments, any thoughts, anything you want to share. Feel free to put video on if you like. So I was talking about, Dr. David Vega's, TED Talk before the meditation. And interestingly, not only he, um, you know, has a team that researches what mindfulness and meditation does um, to our brain. I mean, I sometimes feel why I get so interested in neuroscience. It's just, for all the things I have learned and observed uh, with people who actually followed meditative lifestyle, those who really became leaders. Uh, my grandfather started this in 1930, but there were lots of folks who I saw who really transformed their lives in so many ways. And so now neuroscience is explaining at least some of those things that I have observed. And uh, especially this TED talk was talking about mindfulness is more than relaxation, it is neural training method. And he argues that the self is not fixed, rather, moment by moment, perceptions, thoughts, emotions continually sculpt the brain. And this activity based plasticity, repeated mindful attention, rewires neural circuits associated with reactivity, stress, self narrative into pathways of clarity, balance, and wise awareness. And over time, so mindful awareness, he says, is a sustained, discerning witnessing. So my grandfather used to talk about being an observer. So is says witnessing of what arises, neither suppressing nor getting lost in it. Over time, this witnessing cultivates a deeper shift from identifying with our thoughts and emotions to resting as the awareness that sees them, um, which is, I think, one of the concepts that my grandfather wrote in the 50s quite a lot about. So, yeah. So not, and there are some folks, Anuj, B, I think you joined after I had given instructions about meditation. So probably, um, in another session, we could explain how we meditate. Um, and, but yeah. Hi, Christy.
Hi, Sanjeev. I thought I'd come on. How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Good, I'm okay. This was really interesting. As you know, this was very much what happened to me this week. And when science crosses over into spirituality, it is so interesting.
Mhm.
And my experience with this week, I think has changed my life because I just don't feel like my panic attacks and my PTSD flashbacks will, I don't think that they'll happen again actually now. Now that I can change my feeling and even the actual event itself in my brain. I
Yeah.
just,
So,
it's like
Christy,
I've healed.
so why don't you explain? I think not everybody here, uh, you know, is aware of what I am, but and a few others maybe, but um, so in the community that we have just created so that people can, help each other in the journey. Um, Christy posted something, so I think if you can rewind and explain, yeah.
Okay. So I've been suffering with PTSD and intense flashbacks, which lead into panic attacks. And the last few months, I have been able to calm the panic attacks down with deep breathing, but not always. But I did have a PTSD flashback the other day, and I don't know why this happened, but I was suddenly kind of compelled to do my deep breathing, but to breathe in the divine light, become the divine light, and then take it into my memories and change how I was feeling in that moment. And within, I don't know, 6 seconds, everything just calmed down. It was almost instantaneous. And when that happened, I just sat there in silence for a good 10 minutes, trying to make sense of how that happened and what compelled me to just suddenly do that. And I just feel like it was divine intervention. I just truly believe that because I wouldn't have known to do that. And I feel blessed. I feel grateful. And I actually feel like I've been freed from some kind of a prison
Mm.
because the PTSD attacks since my mum died were very intense. And the physical impact that they would have on me, as well as mentally afterwards, were, they would last quite a long time. So it was incredible. So the neuroplasticity that you were speaking about, we can train our brains with mindfulness, but also mix in our spirituality as well.
Mm.
So yeah, I'm still in like disbelief, but it's incredible because it really proves that we can change our lives with meditation.
Absolutely. Again, what I was reading earlier, what you're saying, I can uh, relate with it, with the observations as I was growing up with some of the leaders in Satsang and what I've seen in the community. But there are firsthand, examples where I was dealing with certain things and I was able to leverage. Um, Actually, one of our community members, she's very sick and right now, um, and I was explaining to her that there are times. So mental resilience, physical resilience, spiritual resilience, they are all interconnected. When you're feeling physically weak, you have to bring it's the other way. When spiritual strength, mental strength, you want to bring down to deal with the physical uh, ailment. Um, you know.
Yeah, you're right. It's the other way.
Mhm.
When the other ways don't work, you have to think, I guess for some people, the spiritual way would be outside of the box. But for us, I think it should probably be our first port of call because we are already, hopefully, most of us spiritually connected and we can wire in our own science within our bodies with our spiritual connection and we can probably work wonders on ourselves. Um, and it can also help us with other habits that we need to break in our lives. help us rewire how we think about food, exercise, anything. So it's definitely something I'm going to be trying out now with other areas of my life, and it's a path I definitely want to explore and research more as well.
Absolutely.
I
So
look forward to your Substack. I heard you say earlier you're going to write another one.
yeah, it's these days, I don't know, mental resilience has been, you know, on the forefront. I feel that's like the foundation for a higher state, higher awareness, higher consciousness. So I want to
Yeah.
talk more about that. And yeah, Arvindji, you want to add anything to this discussion?
Namaskar, Bhaiya. It was so good. Thank you. Really obliged to join and like everybody else at peace. Really nice. Thank you. As you were rightly saying, neuroplasticity, but also synaptic pruning, uh, all our neurons, they have axons and dendrites, and initially there is soft wiring of transmission of thoughts and then behavior subsequently, and the soft wiring in due course can be changed into hard wiring through repetitive behaviors, and in this case through transcendental meditation of that spiritual energy that we are fortunate because of you and Param Puja Papaji and Guru Maharaj. We're all very, very fortunate. We don't know how fortunate we are. Anyway, coming back to synaptic pruning, those negative aspects that we do not repeat because of, say, mindfulness and meditation, those neurons start to die out through an apoptotic process. Apoptosis is programmed cell death, and the neurons and those axons and dendrites don't function anymore, whereas the axon and dendrites that are taking the positive messages, to the prefrontal cortex are more prominent, and they grow. And there is something that I have sent you called long-term potentiation. LTP, long-term potentiation. And that is exactly what's being by David and colleagues. They're talking about long-term potentiations of the positive behaviors that result in, well, frankly, positive neuroplasticity and positive outcomes for us humans. Again, fortunate to join. There's no words. When I say things like that, it's like having a light bulb trying to shine a little light in front of the sun. Guru Maharaj is the sun, and we are very fortunate. That's all I can say. Pujabaya. Namaskar to everybody.
Yeah, that was
Thank you. It's amazing, isn't it? I mean, sorry to interrupt you. It's nice to hear the pure science behind it and just know that I wasn't having a crazy moment. And also hearing that makes me feel a bit more realistic that perhaps I may get another PTSD flashback because I still need to train myself into doing it, like the repeated behavior. So that's kind of brought me a bit back down just to expect that it might still happen. But now I have the tool and
yeah,
I know what to
you
do.
you have the solution that needs to hardwire now, right? So
Exactly.
from the old wiring to some new, maybe not as hardwired, but
Yeah.
see, long time back, I was reading behavioral psychology where we record a lot of things in our brain in our first 5 to 7 years, and those we replay again and again. And there are ways in which you can retrain your brain, and that's what we're discussing here to change how we react to certain things. Certain people like certain smells, certain people like certain you know, um, insects, animals, and certain people don't. And it's all because what we have stored in our brains. But anyway, I think we should lighten the
Yeah.
room.
It's heavy, but it's also a positive thing because I hope it gives everyone here some hope that if you do have any trauma or any bad memories that hurt you, know that there is another way and you can get out of it, because mine was really bad and now I have the solution. So have a lovely weekend, everyone. I will stop talking. Bye.
Sure. Thanks, Christy.
Thank you.
Always welcome. So, Tanika, B, Anuj, anybody else? Any thoughts, questions, comments? Feel free to come on.
I have a question.
Sure.
Actually, I came late. I had some issues with my laptop, was freezing all the time.
No problem.
So, is this like the series of some lectures and the meditation that it's following one another, or is it just like separated, and is it kind of same every week?
So, my grandfather started this in 1930, and when he started, everything was in Hindi. We're trying to convert this into English. So the prayers we have converted to music. I don't know. I think you heard the music after the meditation, probably. But he had a process which I describe as, see, we are dealing with so many things in our lives. So if you want to even meditate for 5 minutes, it is about focus, concentration, changing your mental state to be able to get into deep meditation. And this one is really deep and silent meditation at the core. So you need to transition into that state, into that deep, meditative state. So how do you transition in? Music helps, prayers or songs, devotional songs, etc. help. But what my grandfather did was this. There are so many, as I was saying at the beginning, I think you missed it, that I was, watching a TED talk, and this person who has done a lot of research on the effects of meditation on our brains. And what he was saying, that when he started initially, when early on when he was still a student in 2000, there were very, very, very few, research papers and research done on that topic. So he was discouraged to go down that path, but he continued somehow. And, and it goes on from there. What happens is, like, you need to somehow understand that switching over is like transitioning in. So if you take certain topics which explain what this process is, hopefully people will be able to be more convinced, more, understand the nuances, understand the theory behind it, etc. So my grandfather used the topics, concepts, stories before and after the meditation to transition in and transition out of meditation. Hopefully that explains. So transition in is to get into meditative mode. Transition out is to give more time to absorb what you have embodied. So we embody and kind of manifest this transcendental energy in this meditation. So it kind of gives you this time to switch over your brain to focus And then, post meditation discussions like this, you're still in the mode, in the zone, and you're trying to absorb the energy that you have embodied. Does that make sense? So it is meditation and some topic, some discussion before and after, but then there is music before we go into deep silent meditation.
Okay, I will thank you for that. I will sign for the coming one, and then I can follow the whole session. Thank you.
You're welcome.
The confusion for me of confusion. I saw the last time like a lot of different kind of the meditation, so it makes me like kind of the curious. What is the specific about some specific names? What is behind? Because like the meditation seems to have a lot of faces, I will say, of a lot of ways. So I was just curious to discover which one.
So now you're asking like about meditation practices. My grandfather used to say that we all have different personalities. Sorry. Go ahead.
So
yeah, so I was just trying to describe there are many types of meditation practices, and the reason is that we like different things, right? We have different personalities, different thought processes, different ways in which we connect with things. So there needs to be different paths for different personalities to follow. There are three key ways in which three categories of meditative practices. One practice would be more action based, where you are chanting, you are doing pilgrimage, you're going to temple, mosque, or church, and so on and so forth. So there is activity and more, and then they get more subtle. Then there is meditation like this, where you are sitting quietly and mindfulness and meditation is at the core. And then there is a third category where reflection, contemplation, and those things become more integral to the practice. So yeah, there are many types.
Thank you.
Sure.
Thank you.
Hi Sanjeev, this is Anuj. Actually, this is my second session. The first one I joined on Tuesday was, I guess, it is a pretty short one.
Yeah.
But I guess this is pretty good, where you are teaching all the nuances of the meditation and how to do it. So, what do you recommend for somebody who is new like me? Because I heard, like, I guess you're writing somewhere on the Substack, and you have a support group. And what do you recommend as a practice? Like, how often should it be done? And like, we don't have music the way you're playing, so how we should practice?
So I can share the Substack link and the YouTube link. So all our sessions get recorded on YouTube.
Okay.
And you can go there and just take the meditative part, or like, where the music starts and ends, and use that as your individual practice. Typically, morning and evening, at least 15 minutes each. If you cannot do twice, do at least once a day. I always feel that group sessions are extremely helpful in developing your individual practice. So it's interesting. Understanding some concepts and some nuances of the practice you're following always helps. else could, yeah, and you know, so initially you have to kind of force yourself till you get to a point where it becomes, see, it's like the software to hardwire discussion. It's like 3 to 4 weeks it takes for any new thing to become, at least a cultivating habit or evolving habit. So yeah, practice, practice, practice. And initially, so I am actually these days, like for last 1 year, I'm just thinking about how to help the beginners. So I started Substack. YouTube has like mostly live recordings, but I'll add some more. But I'm also going to invite you to a 1 week course which explains some stuff, as well as will become a supportive activity. And I'm actually developing a 5 week course because I feel that if the beginners get into a 5 week course where they're learning but also practicing and have a community around this, that will be extremely helpful. In India, there is like a local chapters, and local chapters have in-person meetings, and there's a lot of Hindi literature. So trying to get to a better place from content and practice.
Yeah, I think that would be really great. So I think I read. I guess this is your base is Virginia, right?
Yeah. Where are you?
I'm in Canada. I'm from Toronto.
Oh, I missed you. I was in Toronto for Satsang. Uh, in Brampton, we had a whole weekend, 3 sessions in the Triveni Mandir. This was August.
Yeah, so maybe I maybe I should say I missed that.
No, but I'll actually, there is a community which meets every month there in Brampton. Where are you located in Toronto?
So I'm a bit north of Toronto, the Barrie side. But I like every weekend I always go to Brampton because obviously all my friends and everybody they're there.
And,
So
and food.
exactly, you have to do groceries and food and everything. So Brampton is the hub. You have to go there.
Okay. So I'll can you put your I think I have your email, but if you can put that in.
I'll just put it in the chat. Yeah.
I'll be back in touch.
Thanks,
So
Jeeves.
sure thing. Thank you. Thanks for being here. So Tanika, anything? Liz, Paula, AC, before we wrap up today? Okay, good discussion, good meditation today. Appreciate everybody being here. So love, light, and peace be with you. And see you all soon. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Namaskar ji. Happy Saturday.